powerful emotion out there is probably fear. I mean, if you wake up with fear, you can't even move because of whatever you think might happen. And when you're younger, everything seems so big and important that you're bound to have a lot of different fears. At that age, however, it's usually something pretty stupid. And boy, did I have quite a few stupid ones. So allow me to take you back in time, as I discuss my top 10 dumbest childhood fears. Well, nice killing, that ruins it. How do you think I feel? Someone turn it off. Much better. Camera. Say cheese, idiot. Get that action up and running. If you happen to be afraid of this particular video game scene, it's not exactly dumb. But for me it was dumb because I decided to play a T-rated game even though I wasn't old enough. What did I think was gonna happen? Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, or as my parents called it, Munchies, is a pretty dark game at times. I mean, you go through a bunch of industrial zones filled with slaves, your partner's own race is being hunted to extinction, and there are even some moments where you come face to face with some kind of carcass. Ew! But I didn't really notice or care about most of that stuff back then. If anything, I actually enjoyed the industrial zones because I thought they were cool looking. What put me off guard, however, was the bad ending. You get this ending if you forget to save most of your friends, or if you actually kill them on purpose. It starts off when a shaman, who has been guiding you the whole game, calls you out in this really hateful sounding voice. Then come your friends, the Fuzzles. They've been cute and nice to you for pretty much the entire game, but they're known to attack enemies by biting. And at this point, not only does it look like they've been through a lot, but let's just say they also act like it. Yep, they killed the main character Abe, although I have to admit, his dead face looks absolutely hilarious. Munch is still alive though, but he won't be for long. The evil team of Vickers has spent pretty much the whole game planning to rip out his lungs so they can give them to their queen, who needs surgery for lung replacement. And when Munch finally awakens, he gets greeted by this. This was my first time hearing the sound of a flatline. Then I saw the game itself mock me, and then I got this picture of what I thought was a high school swim team, and then I saw this. You know what this is? A tutorial level. That's right, you basically have to start the whole game all over again if you get the bad ending. Fun times! If a children's cartoon is ever creepy, it's usually not on purpose. And you want to know which one this moment is from? SpongeBob SquarePants. Go ahead, laugh. Laugh as hard as you can. But you know in the back of your mind that this show has freaked you out at least once. Maybe it was the hash-slinging episode known as Graveyard Shift. Or maybe it was some other random moment. Time's up, SpongeBob. Still have no idea what I'm talking about? Okay, well... Oh, the cameraman's not there anymore now, is he? But the moment I'm thinking of is actually from a later episode. In Ghost Host, the Flying Dutchman seems to have lost his ability to scare people. We get to see many of his attempts to scare SpongeBob. One of the attempts, however, is a bit overkill. If you have a fear of creepy crawlies, I suggest turning away now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this part was what started my fear of certain insects. Why did there have to be so many of them? And why did there have to be such unsettling music? Not to mention, this happens twice throughout the episode. Thanks for being brave all those other times, you stupid sponge. You might think I was a bad little boy for playing a T-rated game at such a young age, but how about we go one step further? That's right, I even played M-rated games back in the day. Sue me! On second thought, that joke wasn't very original. The game I'm talking about is Mortal Kombat. Would anyone like to guess how old I was the first time I played Mortal Kombat? 3. I remember being told it was a bad idea, but I can't imagine why that could possibly be. Okay, so I guess one thing about the series is pretty freaky. The championship screen in Mortal Kombat Deception. Just... ugh. But aside from that, nothing from the franchise ever really scared me. That is, except the game over screen in Mortal Kombat 3. I mean, when you lose, there are these gray bars that close down on the screen. How traumatizing is that? I guess my child mind imagined that the bars were crushing the character that lost. In the version I had, you were then allowed to enter the level password to continue. Being so little, I of course played horribly, so I never even discovered any passwords. And if you failed to enter the correct one, you would hear some lady screaming. I thought maybe I had killed her by entering the wrong code. So playing Mortal Kombat as a preschooler probably wasn't such a good idea after all. Oh, by the way, those of you who are afraid of creepy crawlies can look back on screen now. Of all the possible shows, my next fear was from Tom and Jerry. Oh, I bet I know what part you're thinking of. Well, the one that I chose was actually an entire episode. To be specific, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Mouse. The episode begins with your typical Tom and Jerry stuff. Jerry keeps sneaking into Tom's milk bowl to get a few sips. Then we see a really unusual look on Tom's face. It's a bit more evil looking than usual. Wanna know why? Basically, it's because he just got an idea on how to kill Jerry. No big deal. Whoa, what? The screen then goes to some freaky-looking lab room full of poisonous ingredients. I have no idea where Tom even got all this stuff. Anyway, it's pretty rare that you see such a menacing trick played on this show. Tom then mixes up the ingredients and gives the mixture to Jerry. After drinking a huge amount, you know something bad's gonna happen. And it does. Only not in the way you'd expect. The way he's slowly walking, tearing everything to shreds, I don't know exactly what it is, but it freaked me out when I was a little kid. Maybe it's the unnerving music, but the fact that we usually see Jerry being all like, and now he's all like, that is, until the effect wears off. Can you imagine what would happen if Tom took a few sips? Well, he almost gets the same results. But he then shrinks down to an impossibly small size, giving Jerry the excuse to chase him yet again. The episode itself was rather dark in general. I guess I'd rather watch the one where that chicken covers the earth with her own babies. What are you talking about? Of course that's an actual episode. According to some stupid scientists, it is impossible to have the same dream or nightmare twice. Well, I can prove that they have no clue what they're talking about. My proof involves the number 6 slot, and it has one of the most threatening names in TV special history. Dave the Brave meets a big orange monster. Ew! Okay, so the story is that this random white mouse named Dave is trying to get back home. He's about to crawl through the big tomato soup can when he meets up with a rabbit who warns them that there are rumors of a monster near his house.
I love monsters. I'm going home to watch Scary Monster Theater with my dad. It starts in a few minutes.
Listen, you idiot. This thing's probably not friendly if it exists, and that whole thing about watching them on TV was completely off topic. I'm not sure it's healthy for a child to be that obsessed with monsters. But instead of stopping Dave, the rabbit just sits there and lets him get closer to danger. Next, Dave sees some messed up looking chicken. I could honestly imagine it ending up in my Easter basket right next to the cream eggs. Anyway, the chicken explains this monster in further detail.
And it's round too, with big round eyes!
Round eyes, you say? That's unusual. Being the jerk that Dave is, he once again ignores what his friend says. Lastly, Dave comes across a mole who claims that the monster has a tail. And apparently, pink fairy before I can even finish my dang sentence, Dave once again goes straight past his friend. At this point, he has it coming. Dave starts picturing exactly what the monster might look like. You can probably tell why my past self was so freaked out by this story. This isn't exactly what you should be showing your average little kid, and the spooky music made matters worse for me. And what Dave sees past the grass is the big, orange...
Balloon!
I can explain. Look, I always understood that the ending was supposed to make the whole story seem silly, but the scenery that they showed along the way was enough for me to have nightmares about this thing every single night for what may have been a month. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.